Debt. It's all around us, and most people don't like to talk about it. Credit card companies try to get you to rack it up. Popular YouTubers and TV personalities will yell at you if you have it. And let's be real, generally, people in America don't have a positive opinion on debt. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Dad Manual. And this is my attempt as a dad, and only a dad, to talk about the 5 reasons why I try to finance all of my liabilities with debt. Full disclosure, I'm not your financial advisor, and I'm definitely not your fiduciary. You should take everything said in this video as if it's for entertainment purposes only, and remember that I'm just a dad explaining how I handle my finances. And before you decide to go all Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman on me and start screaming at your screen telling me how stupid I am for financing anything, especially a liability, you should know that if I wanted to pay off everything that I have today, I could do so with the click of a button, and everything would be fine. In fact, if the markets dropped by over 50%, I still would not change a single thing in my current lifestyle. In addition, I know that Jaspreet Singh from Minority Mindset will tell you that for smaller purchases, smaller than a house, that you shouldn't buy something until you have at least 5 times the amount of money that you would need to purchase that one item. The idea being that if you don't have 5 times the amount of money, you can't even afford one of those items. I don't use that method. In fact, I actually take that method to a little bit more of an extreme. For me, I won't purchase an item like that unless I can afford 10 of those items. And the reason is very simple, is because 10 is the magic number that I have found that I can take that money that I would use to purchase the item that I want to, and I can put it on the side, buy an asset with it, and then after I buy that asset can pay for the liability that I want. So in the end, the idea that I use in this structure is I save up money, and then I want to purchase something. I buy an asset, and I make that asset pay for the liability. So in the end, I have my asset, which is typically cash performing, and I have the liability that I wanted. All right? That's the strategy as a whole. So this is why we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why I use this strategy. Because to me, it's worked out to be a great way to build wealth. So on to the 5 reasons why I do this. Reason number 1 is it forces me to set goals and clearly define what I want, and it forces me to save the money to do so. This gives me ample time to decide whether or not I'm actually really wanting what it is that I'm saving the money for. Because all too often we make spur-of-the-moment decisions and we sign ourselves up for long-term payments, and by not saving and building up that capital on the side, instead you are more apt to make an emotional decision. For me to go ahead and make a purchase of any size, even if it's just going over and financing the next project that I have in my backyard through Lowe's and Home Depot, I've got to think about how much money that's going to take, and I've got to build up that much money. And sometimes that could be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and I need to be able to have that money readily available in my hand, and it gives me the time to really itemize, am I making the right decision? The second reason why I finance things instead of paying for them with cash is because oftentimes you can get really stupid low interest rates if you have the cash ready. Places like Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards around here, you get 0% financing for maybe 24 months. If you already have the cash available, then you're missing out on an opportunity cost. And oftentimes I can take the amount of cash that I would purchase it with, and in that amount of time, I can make back the amount of cash that I would need. And if it's something larger, then I can amortize that loan over a long period of time, say maybe 5, 7, 8, 9 years, through a personal loan with a locked interest rate. If I do that, then I know what my target is, and all I have to do is beat that interest rate from that target. And debt as a whole, if we remember from our conversation to inflation, debt becomes worth less over time, just due to inflation. So it's almost like I get a discount by going ahead and financing it. The third reason why I do this is because it forces me to actively manage my assets. When you have something like a fixed payment for a car that's due every single month, it forces you to pay attention to make certain you're actually producing enough money in order to go ahead and pay for that car payment. Now keep in mind, active management is not for everybody, and I understand that. See the disclaimer earlier in the episode. However, I enjoy it. I look at this as a game, and I'm just trying to make certain that I get the most out of it while I'm here. So I enjoy doing this, and it forces me to maintain that active management mindset rather than just setting it and forgetting it. That's a lazy person's way out, in my own opinion. Do your own due diligence, blah, 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 all that jazz. The fourth reason that I do this is because it forces me to compartmentalize my finances just like I do in my business. This gives me a greater amount of control over what I'm physically allowing myself to do and not to do. Now you can do this with a budget. However, if the idea is all of your money that you have is supposed to go out and make friends, by sectioning it off and forcing yourself to live within the means only of what can that money produce for you, it gives you a great deal of control over knowing what your limits are. And for me, in my household, that's actually very beneficial. The fifth and final reason that I run my finances this way is because it forces me to check up on them basically daily. I enjoy this. This is something that I actually like to do because it takes me maybe 15 minutes to go on my phone and see how all of my liabilities are, where they're at, making certain I'm not late on payments, anything of that nature. And to go ahead and check up on all of my finances from the asset side to make certain that they're performing the way I think they're supposed to be performing, that takes me maybe 30 to 45 minutes on that exact same phone. And I do that pretty early in the morning, and I do that with a cup of coffee right when I wake up or maybe when I'm having breakfast. From there, it leaves me basically the entire rest of the day to do what I need to do. And that's a lot better than being up in the middle of the night worrying about your finances, at least in my opinion. Once I have that cleared out in the beginning of the day, I lead the rest of my day fairly stress-free. It's something that helps me out, and take it or leave it. Whether you like it or not, it works for me. Well, that about wraps up today's episode. What I want to know, though, is how you feel about financing liabilities with debt. Tell me about it down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, click that subscribe button, and consider sharing this with one of your friends or family. It really helps out the channel. And thanks for joining me today. Here we produce videos twice a week for your entertainment. And until next time, I'm Andrew Sherman. This is the Dad Manual. And remember, failure isn't bad. Failure to try and learn is. Have a good one.